Peace, and have grease. Bye. Get them in here and tell them we on live and we lit. And the subject today is who built the pyramids? You see, the phone went dead, man, on the last one. The question is who built the pyramids? And we're willing to debate anybody on this. When we tell you who built the people they told you who built the pyramids didn't build the pyramids. Or from one perspective they did. We'll break it down though. Who built the pyramids? With the young elder live right now on Instagram. Now, like we said, the four original species of the planet is the Twa man, the Sans man, the Hindus, and the Watusis. All four of these species have different hair textures. The Sans man and the Twa man got similar hair textures. But then the Watusi, he's got a combination of the the Sans man and the Hindus. The Hindus got straight hair. These people weren't building pyramids until the 200 fallen came to earth. Go read the book of Enoch again. These 200 Agigis, because there was 300 originally, they got sunk down to Mars. On a way station, on this way station, the being that was over that way station was Murdoch's uncle, Alelu's son, by the name of Anzu. Anzu de factoed out because he decided to try to make an attempt. Well, it wasn't an attempt. He actually stole it. Stole the tablets of destiny. What the tablets of destiny was the advanced sort of smartphone type device, tablet, that Enlil used to control satellites and to send messages to Nubaru and different climate control devices and what have you, and video camera and infrared scanners and things of that nature that he controlled from this pad, right, called the tablets of destiny. It wasn't no book. It was advanced technology. These people had watches. We already showed you that. Watches, cell phones. They had airplanes, helicopters, submarines, the Anunnakis. So when you read the Bible, you got to notice that the whirlwind is the helicopters that Enki them was using. That the submarines are the whales that swallow man and take them under the water for 3 days and then bring them back to the surface. Wake up, people. The Bible is literal. The Bible is a literal book, not religion. Somebody confused you. We can talk about that. Because we're talking about who built the pyramids, but we'll get into that. But let's talk about this. The Old Testament is Anunnaki teachings, storyline playing out to their children, who we are their children. And then the New Testament is when Murdoch Armin comes back and set up the new thing when they go into the Haru story of being born with Ishtar or Inanna or Aset and the Immaculate Conception. Right? So it's about a son being born who would be the savior to his people. So that New Testament story is gold. Some people don't like the word gold, Netharu's story. The New Testament is Netharu's story. So those are literal stories that were taken and put into the Bible now. But then they made it into religion. It's not religion, it's actual real stories that took place. That's just one thing. Now, back to what I was saying about who built the pyramids. And we'll debate anybody on it. Anybody. The people who built the pyramids were Moors. Now, let's make one key point. The first oldest pyramid they say that was built was Imhotep's pyramid, Stepstone pyramid. This is what they say. Right? Now keep in mind, what species was Imhotep? Imhotep was an Afar being. The Afar branch off of what you call the Somalians. The Somalians are mixed with Hindus. So Imhotep was mixed with the Hindus or the Moors. In Pacific, a tribe called the tribe of Shabazz that Muhammad tell you about. The tribe of Shabazz from Shabazar, who was a being who disagreed with Yakub's experiment. Him and 59,999 other people left on boats from out of Ur, Chaldea. That's where you get the word Moor, M-U-U-R. M-U means one who's of, like I say, Muslim. Muslim means really means one of peace, because salam means peace. Mu means as a prefix means one who's of. So if I say mu or, I'm saying more, and I'm saying one of or a Chaldea. So these beings left Aura, who were fire worshippers, who came down and decided to go. And they had 200 captains, right? It was more than 200, but the 200 captains were the ones that they make mention of in the book of Enoch, who made deals amongst themselves with the leaders, right, to take women, like it mentions of in Genesis chapter 6, when they came down to Murdoch's wedding, to Ammon's wedding. What do you about the show Secret Invasion with Samuel L. Jackson? I'm going to check that out, man. I hadn't watched that, right? I hadn't watched it, man. We should have dropped that in the chat again before we get off, man. I hadn't watched that. I'm going to check it out because we got Disney Plus. So I really don't get a chance to watch TV. I mostly read. I really don't watch the news that much. But my wife, she keep me updated on the news and stuff like that, right? This is yeah, but we talked the story. If you're just not coming in, the class is who built the pyramids. And so Imhotep was mixed with the Moors, the M-U-U-R Moors from Ur Chaldea, who one name they went by was the tribe of Shabazz. So Imhotep, if he built the first pyramid, then he had more influence. These builders, these Moors, they were builders, right? They taught when they came down. If you read the book of Enoch close, it makes mention of these beings teaching these people how to create swords, how to create shields, how to carve stone, how to make bow and arrows and weapons, how to use gunpowder, because these beings, they brought a explosive device. That's why I told the people that your fireworks, they don't come from Chinese people. Chinese don't. The gunpowder was brought by the Moors. The people that brought explosive plutonium from where they were mining on Pluto, and they call it plutonium. It was a high explosive. Then they got the gunpowder, and then they made the explosives. Go back and watch 300 when Xerxes, because the original Persians were Moors. When they brought these beings, they were throwing these smoke bomb type things. The Moors started it. The Moors made missiles. These beings, these 200 fallen, made missiles and explosives and grenades and things of that nature. Now, to fight the humans, to make their own military to fight the Anunnakis, because they got mad at the Anunnakis because of the disagreements. The disagreement was they got kicked secretly. They got kicked off of Nibiru down on to Mars, and then they was there for so many shores, and they kept on getting promises from the beings that were over them, but they never got the promise. under his promise, but the dude Anzu, he started hearing their complaints. That's what made him steal the tablets of destiny so he could take control of Anunnaki, which was a command station. He ended up stealing the tablets, but then Ertu hunted them down and got the tablets back. They arrested him and casted them into under darkness, which would be the center of the earth, right, to them. Enlil got the tablets back, but Enlil got caught slipping though. He was doing wrong, got caught slipping. Yeah, so speed up to, because we get to the who built the pyramids. These 200 fallen, eventually they were building pyramids on Mars. That's how you get the pyramids on Mars, because they was on Mars first. So it's pyramids on Mars because these 200 fallen started building the and keep in mind this tie into the Goa'uld. The Goa'uld, because the Goa'uld came here in Hindu cause. We pointed that out. They came in Hindu avatars. That's what these Hindus really are, avatars for the Nagas, for these reptilian Nagas. How you get the word nigga, right? Nigga, Nagas. So these are serpent beings in avatars, humanoid avatars. Because they said when they come back, they gonna come looking as humans. So they Dragonian, some of them Dragonians in humanoid cars. These beings, right? So speed up to the pyramids. The Armaks didn't build the pyramids. The Armaks wasn't mixed with the Hindus. The Armaks are Bantu, really. They are really Twa. Hey, Haru, you gotta stop making this noise, bro. Go on in your room. The Hindus. I mean, the Armaks didn't build the pyramids. The Armaks were over here before the pyramids were even built. Maybe thousands of years. The pyramids don't start getting built into the Hindu influence. And this Hindu influence, I'm going to break a couple of things down. We already put a tape out on it already called Ancient Egyptian Culture Influenced by Hindus. Because they want to, hey, it's like somebody go over here. Yeah, so, hey, Haru, you got to get up out of there and close that door. So, let's break this part. Let's break this part down. The Naga, if you go to Hindu culture, when they came here 60-something billion years ago to this solar system, and when they came in ships that looked like stepstone pyramids. Go look it up. Go look up Hindu UFOs. Go look it up. And if you go to ancient Bali, because that's where Indonesia, that's where Bible said they set up their home away from home in Indonesia once they left Oro Shadia. If you go look at the building styles, you'll see the stepstone pyramid building styles. And the Tower of Babel. Who taught them how to build that Tower of Babel? If you go back to the Nimrod, if you want to go with the Nimrod story. Who taught them how to build those temples, the 200 fallen? That's why the Anunnakis, that was part of it. But the dude that was in charge of that was Murdoch. And actually, the tower was one part where these 200 fallen, because what happens is Murdoch ended up getting over these beings. Once Anzu, which is Murdoch's uncle, right? Keep in mind, Damkina brother name was Anzu, Elelu's son, Murdoch's uncle. All right, so since Murdoch will be the next in line to that bloodline, so they put Murdoch over the people on Mars after Anzu, right, de factoed out from stealing the tablets of destiny. They put Murdoch over him, and Murdoch really didn't want to be over him. Amen. He becomes Amen Ra, right? He didn't want to be over these beings on Mars, so he kept blowing them off. And it could have been, hey man, the way it depends on what perspective. You could have said Murdoch used these 200 fallen to try to overthrow his people that was coming after him, because Nergal and Ninurtu and Enlil was after, and Inanna was after Murdoch. Inanna didn't like him because she blamed him for murdering her love, Asar or Damuzi, and then Enlil didn't like him because he just didn't follow the rules and he didn't do what Enlil said. He always found a loophole in what Enlil said, and he was doing something else. Hey, y'all gotta stop. Let's go. That ain't no toy. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, so Enlil, Murdoch never did what Enlil said. Hook it back up, please. Murdoch never did what Enlil said, you know. So that's why he didn't like him, right? And then Nergal was like taking Enlil's side, and he was good friends with Ninurtu. Ninurtu was following orders from Enlil. He did whatever Enlil told him because he didn't see his dad was wrong, because it's all dealing with perspectives. So, but eventually, so I don't think Murdoch was in on them to start taking humans or taking the Lulus and making a military or putting babies in them, making their own military. That's what really happened in Genesis chapter 6. When the 200 came to the wedding of Murdoch, they decided to take these Lulus and start putting babies in them. And there was giants in the earth in those days. Why? Because compared to the Twa man, who was 4'5", these 8-foot, 10-foot dudes, 7-foot dudes, like Shaquille O'Neal height, they really giants compared to a midget or a Twa, right? So they said that they was giants, and so they was producing the babies and making their own military and teaching them how to make swords and weapons to fight against the Anunnakis. And this when the war took place, another war. And if you go watch a movie called, where Murdoch ended up having to capture these dudes and lock them down into Shambhala. And they show you this in a movie called The Immortals, where these dark-skinned Etruscan or reptilian beings who took the Nagas, who took avatars from Hindus, these centaurians. They got these fins on their head like the Spartans. These beings are trapped down in this gold temple, and they got these gold bracelets going through their neck. They show you this on The Immortals, with a dude looking for a bow, right? What's the bow? The bow is this emerald tablets that Tahuti for the password to lock these beings in, trap them into that hexagon. And so they looking for a bow to shoot these beings so they can get them out. Those are them 200 fallen beings. Now, it just depends on what perspective you're looking at it from. These beings taught the humans how to make brick and mortar, because the Anunnakis didn't really teach the humans none of that. The only thing they taught the humans is how to operate certain type of equipment. Well, Enki defied, because he was teaching more than what they was wanting to teach the humans. Enki was teaching more. He wanted to advance the humans. He even started mixing his DNA with the humans so that he could speed them up, especially coming down through Noah. So the beings through Noah is direct descendants of Enki. Now, like I said, the topic is still who built the pyramids. We're getting around to that. But if you say Imhotep built the oldest pyramid, he's part Hindu. Imhotep was part Hindu from the Afar people. The Afar people are Somalians. Now, if you want to trace that back, the Somalians come from the Watusi and the Bantu, because you got the Bantu is mixed with Sandsman and Twa. The Bantu is like Eve's people. Then you got the Anunnakis when they come back around on another shore, they see the Bantu women and they thought that they looked good. This is still Genesis chapter 6. See, Genesis chapter 6 could have been millions of years, just that one chapter. Genesis chapter 6 could be thousands of years, in between thousands to millions of years that this was going on. And still to this day is going on. The gods are still coming down, mixing their seed. What you think AD, what his name is, the dude that played for the Lakers? That's Enlil's son. I'm telling you, 1993 is when they last Votex open, when they come through and they start mixing their seed with humans. Yeah, so the Bantu people, so the Anunnakis came down and started mixing their seed with these Bantu women and produced another stronger type beings like the Zulus. They got bigger structures because the Anunnakis got bigger noses, bigger lips, bigger eyes, bigger head, bigger arms because they got bigger body structures. They said most of them are like the Enlil clan, like 7-8 foot tall. So they got everything's bigger on them. It says there is a lot of Somalians up in Minnesota. Yeah, the Somalians are mixed with Hindus. They origin is from Hindus. Not they origin, but they got Hindu in them. The Somalians. And Muhammad Rasulullah alayhi wasalam was a Somalian. And they some of the tribe, they wear red dye right here in their beard, like Muhammad did. Muhammad was a Somali. Muhammad was a Moor from the ones who mixed in from Oral tribe did. All right, so we can get into that too, but Imhotep didn't build the first pyramid. That's what they say. But Imhotep was trying to duplicate what Tahuti had did in the Giza Plateau from the Anunnakis. He was trying to copy it. And Imhotep actually is Enki's son. Imhotep is Enki's son. Right? Keep that in mind. Enki's name becomes in ancient Kemet Ptah. And he takes different avatars. If you read the Holy Tablets, it's 2 different avatars in there for Ptah. The first avatar he took was of the Twa man under the Ptah, and that's when he birthed Eve, right? From when he mixed with the Sands, he got a Sands woman's wife, and he had a Twa avatar, and he mixed and birthed Eve. A lot of this shit might go over here. And then when they came back later on, because sometimes if they stay here every 200 years, they got to take a new avatar every 200 years. Or if they use the technology that Murdoch created later on down the line, and this way later, so they couldn't have been using it then, because Murdoch didn't create that till we came back from Orion. We came down from Orion then, and that's when we had the sarcophagus technology that they show you in the Stargate movie. We started putting the Stargates when we became known as the Atlanteans. That's what you call them, the Nadarus. The Atlanteans is different from, well, they're not different. They're the same origin, but they are more advanced species. The Nadaru are more advanced species than the Anunnakis, because they got the Anunnakis upgraded. And a part of the Anunnaki clan is jealous of the Natharus. Why? Because the Natharus can pass them up and become higher than them. And that's part of the jealousy of Enlil and the Dragonians, who got their own entrance in this. It says people up north, big, Zulu. Yeah, Zulus got Anunnaki. So some of the new species, when they start mixing, they begin to get the Anunnaki upgrades mixed in. Because Enki was, like I say, mixing in. So Imhotep actually was part extraterrestrial from, good, they're going to the park. So I'm going to drop a couple. We're going to drop a couple back to back right here. So, yeah, because we get background noise, right? So what the Natharu is, the Atlanteans, they are a later species. So what happens is we came to clean the planet up and put the one drop. We got the one drop, so we left because we had to go back to Risk and evacuate our family before we had to quarantine Riz, right, from the holes in our ozone layer. So it was 19 families. Those 19 families split up and went to different galaxies. Some of them went to Arcturus and became known as the Arcturians, and they took on different body forms to look different colors, different shapes. And then some of us left and went to like Platees and took on different body forms and different shapes and colors. And then one group went to Orion. That was our group, the Inky clan from Murdoch, coming down from Murdoch. So Inky's bloodline, the family from Murdoch, went to Orion and set up on the center star, because it's more than 3 stars in Orion's belt. As you look up in Orion's belt, you only see 3 stars, but it's actually 9 stars right there. It's like the top star is like 4 stars. The middle star is only 1 star that's 20 times bigger than your sun. And then the third star is got like about 4 stars or 3 stars rotating it. So they like quadruple or trilateral stars. So it's like really 9 stars in Orion's belt. But that center star got 9 huge planets rotating it. So you think there's people, if you're thinking that you alone and ain't planets rotating on stars, you guys to be crazy. We're gonna show you that on it's a program we got, the Hubble telescope program, where we can show you that it's 9 stars and 9 planets rotating around the center star in Orion's belt. And 2 of those planets we set up on, one became known as Atlantis. And technically that wasn't the tongue that it was in. It actually was in what you call in Metaneta, right? That's what in the tongue that we had the Metaneta. But just for sake of conversation, the one of them was called Atlantis, and another one was called Mentis, and that's what a laboratory. Well, Inky set up the laboratory and started designing the new ships, the new pyramid style ships, after with the help of Tahuti Ningazita, which is one of his sons. And they start designing these new type pyramids these new type ships called hot talks. They show you these ships in the Stargate, they pyramid shaped ships, and they show you these Cleophas where it's like a slave ship to land on to the thing. So being that we got blocked and kicked down a dimension, we had to start something to utilize on this side of the mirror. We had to start taking physical forms and start creating what you call suits. Well, we call them suits. You call them avatars, bodies, cars, right? This suit, right? We start creating suits depending on what planet we went to. And so we figured out in order to get back, we want this is really our home. Earth is really our home as far as the Inky bloodline on the mother's side. The mitochondrial DNA is coming from reptilian. That's why all of you here got reptilian. You part reptilian. That's why you got to have water, a certain amount of water. That's why when a man, big bangs, a whole bunch of reptilians, tapos, frogmans come out, and the baby lives in water for 9 months and breathe in water for 9 months. Babies love water, right? So your skin, it peels, sheds like reptilians. You have the reptilian side of the brain. So you niggas got reptilian in you from the Inky side. A lot of you, most of all of you, because they kept on doing a population decrease to wipe. The population decrease ain't for everybody. The population decrease is to get rid of the weak genetics, the weak genes, to keep the stronger genes going, the pure genes going. Because you got to read in the book, it says in Genesis chapter 9, it says that Noah's genes were perfect because he had mixed with Inky. Noah's Utna fish tomb. Noah was Enki's son. So Noah was part extraterrestrial. And Noah got a chance to meet Anu. And Adalpha got a chance to meet Anu. Right? A lot of this stuff, can you please save this life? Yeah, we're gonna load it up to YouTube after this. So let's see. Yeah, we'll load it up to YouTube after this, man. So the people that didn't get it, we'll play it back on YouTube. Yeah, so you got any questions so far? Because a lot of this stuff might have been, but we're getting down to who built the pyramids. So Ningazita initially, the reason why he built the pyramids and the reason why it'll never be a pole shift unless they move those stones and keep on messing with the weights. The planet actually is wobbling right now a little bit, slightly, because of them altering those pyramids. Now keep in mind, if you're familiar with tires, when you get your tires balanced on your car, you know, if you don't get them balanced, once you go up to 60 miles an hour, your car can shake, it'll wobble. Now, what you do is take it to the tire shop, and they would put it on a what they call a harmonic balancer. Listen to that, and they would spin the tire to a certain speed, and then put certain weights in areas to keep the tire from wobbling when you get up to 60 miles an hour. Now, keep in mind about the pole shift. We already put a tape out about that. In the pole shift, where the planet tilted from the South Pole to the North Pole, wiping out the whole planet, except Noah and his people who built a submarine to survive the flip, which is why they show you 2012, where they built these submarines and they give people tickets to get on and all that. Okay, all right, yeah, so you up to speed. Scott Will, you up to speed. Yeah, so the pole shift happened. So when the pole shift happened again, the Anunnaki said, well, the good group said they ain't gonna let it happen again. So they designed a plan to keep the planet from tilting. And so they put these huge weights, huge tons. They balanced the planet out by moving certain weight to certain areas. So like this. So those pyramids weigh millions of tons. So it's like a huge weight put on a tire. Because keep in mind, Earth is spinning at 1,037 and 1/3 mile per hour. 1,037 and 1/3 mile per hour. So that's 1,000 miles an hour. So it'd be wobbling if it wasn't balanced. So the pyramids was placed in strategic places on strategic latitudes and longitudes and lines. Go look it up. To balance the planet, to keep it from tilting again. So thanks to Ningazita, which is one of the brilliant sons of Enki, because Enki was a fashioner, and he taught his sons some of his information. A lot of them, especially Murdoch and Ningazita. So they built these pyramids to keep the Earth from doing the pole shift again. That's why there won't be a pole shift unless they start moving those pyramids off the place. Just one pyramid moved out of place could cause the Earth to go out of whack. And that's probably what's happening. Because keep in mind, they got some of the stones is made of solid granite that's 300 tons. And how did they get there? Keep in mind, when you take weight from one area and move it to another, you can offset the balance of something. So when they study digging up gold, digging up minerals, some minerals supposed to stay where they digged up at. Like, so when you dig up gold, it's supposed to stay in that location. It's not supposed to travel to another area, because the more weight you move to another area, it'll cause the balance to be off. Which is why they had to build more pyramids on this side, because Enki was taking gold to Central America and caused the planet to tilt another 0.5 degrees to the left, 23.5 degrees, when he started moving the gold from Africa over to Central America. And then it was a switching hands where the gold was going back and forth. But keep in mind, weight. When you're digging up weight, how much these pyramids weigh. And why they weigh such a certain amount of tons, and why they set on a certain type of longitude and latitude to balance the planet. And they did this right around 10,005 BC, which was during the Leo age, which is why they put the Sphinx there. And the first face that was on the Sphinx was Ningazita, Tahuti. And then once Osar got murdered, they then Enki had the vote to switch out to put Osar or Damuzi, his younger son, one of his younger sons who murdered, make the Sphinx his face. And this was set up first before we set up Atlantis. This is before we come back as the Atlanteans. This is like during the Leo phase. We didn't come back as the Atlanteans till about around later than that, during the phase of the Aries, during the phase of Amen. The Amen, because Aries is a ram, and that was during the age of Amen. Right? Enlil ruled during the age of Taurus, and Mother Hathor ruled, which is why they got the Taurus. Now I heard some people say that Mother Hathor and Isis is the same people. They're not the same people. Inanna and Hathor, Ninhursag is not the same people. I heard some people say that, some scholars, but that's not the same people. Ninhursag is Anu's daughter, Mother Ninti, and she becomes Hathor in ancient Kemet, who breastfed the first mortal human being, which is why she did it during the Taurus, the human being, the Adam project was created during the Taurus age, and that's why they got the bull horn with the sun in the bull horn age, which is the Taurus age, was when they created the human. And then later on, because keep in mind, those humans got destroyed during the floods of Noah. Some of them, but two species survived. I think when Enki told Noah to build a boat, Enlil went and told some people to build a boat too, because another group survived. Two on this side that they don't talk about. They got the same storyline as they said this great flood was coming, and they somebody told them to build a boat. Right? So I believe Enlil backdoored too. They don't, because he talk about it in his book. He got a book called the Enlil, his Enlil storyline. I got that book where he talks about he gives his perspective on why he did what he did. Right? He says, "Hail from the god Enki and them." Yeah, Hathor is Mother Ninti, who becomes also in ancient Kemet. In ancient Kemet, in ancient Kemet she become Hathor, right? And that, like I say, she surrogated the first mortal human beings. And then later on, another phase happened with Inanna. See the difference between Inanna is the niece of Hathor, her niece. Inanna is Nanar's daughter. Nanar is Enlil's son. So Enlil, Nanar, as in Nino Brown. Because Nanar looked just like Wesley Snipes in New Jack City. That's how he looked. And he used to wear the earring hoops and everything, just like him. Wear all the gold just like him, dress like him and all that. And the little suits and things, just like Nino Brown dressed on New Jack City. Nanotechnology. Check that out. So Inanna is Nanar's daughter. She becomes Aset in ancient Kemet, when she take a different avatar. Because you got to keep in mind, she had a journey to the center of the earth. Well, when she got there, she was all the way unrobed, and her sister, which is Nanar's daughter by a reptilian chick, half human, half reptilian chick from the center of the earth. He had a daughter named Ariskagil, which was Inanna's sister. And when Inanna got to the center of the earth, Ariskagil pulled out a plasma weapon and shot her, and blew her out of her avatar, and then hung her body on the wall for all to see when they come down, until Enki went down and retrieved her. and they had and Mother Ninti, and they had to do a ritual where they transfer her consciousness to another body. And they show you this in the movie Avatar, where when the dude Jake Sutton, whatever his name is, his avatar body or his real body is dying, so they transfer his body to an avatar on the planet, right? So that's why she got a green car. When you see her at one point, she got a green body. Then you see her again, she got the dark skin olive tone body with the Anunnakis. So as Inanna, and she became known as Ishtar because she aligned herself. Because you got to keep in mind, Inanna had this brothel set up called the house, Inanna's House of Horror, where she was inviting different extraterrestrials from all over to come. It was in the land of Nod, what you call in the land of Nod, and they would come down, and different extraterrestrials would make whoopee with the different women that Inanna had. And she had different types, not just humanoid types. She had women from all over the galaxy getting that money. We only can say so much to keep it clean. But she also started getting humanoid husbands and making them kings and having babies with them. And so she started having babies with the humans. That's why you see another thing is this right here going back before she had the first birth, Haru, right? The son Haru, which was born by the artificial insemination, right? Who become the first? Haru was really. They had made a ban against this. Ra had made a ban against this because he was like the first being born like that in one way, and sort of say, and so it really was a ban on beings being born like that. That's what Enlil tried to ban it. So that's why he didn't like Haru, right? Enlil. But like I say, we getting back to because I went way left because people was talking about that. I went way left on about the pyramids. We're still talking about that. But I heard people say Mother Hathor and Isis is the same person. No, that's not true. Isis got this big mama chair on her head, the stepstone. She got a step chair on her head. And Hathor got the bull horns for that age. The Big Mama's age is when the Dendorian calendar come in. Actually, the Dendorian calendar and the Mayan calendar, all of the calendars really are the same calendar. It was designed by Enki when he went to the moon with Murdoch for 12 cycles. And then he studied how the planet was rotating in the moon and all that, and he made charts of it and brought it back and gave the Lulus and the Anunnakis these calendars because they wanted to calculate the time, because on this planet, the time frame is different from on Nubaru. Nubaru, one day is 30 days. 30 years. 1 day is 30 days. 1 month is 300 years. So take that back. 1 day is 30 years. 1 month is 300 years. 1 year is 3,600 years. So they call it a shore. So they can be 1 year old and they can be 3,600 years old for 1 year. While you in 3,600 years, you've been passed away and came back several times. Right? Yeah, so Mother Inanna is a whole different person rather than Mother Hathor. What they gotta go get a book called Inanna Returns. They'll get a book called Inanna Returns. Now, this is Inanna's perspective on what happened. Inanna said that they didn't want to teach the humans. They didn't want to teach the humans because it was like teaching your pet. It's like teaching your pet what you know, your pet dog or your pet hamster. Why would I teach my pet hamster what I know? And then they won't be my pet no more. So Inanna she really liked the humans, and she considered them as like her pets. That's how the Anunnakis, some of the Anunnakis looked at the humans. They looked at them like they pets. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't feel like they should teach the humans what they know. But they hit a wall, they hit a clause where they had to come back and start teaching the humans. And that's why we're here now. We're here now dropping all this for you. The master teacher said that we will return, that these beings, these Anunnakis, will come down. Right? We the Tharus will come down. The 9 gods will come down and start dropping the shit to where you can remember from behind the whole storyline from behind the stars. You know what I'm saying? So we can take you back beyond to where you came from. Yeah, so we dropping it, man. What else you got, man? You got any questions so far? We still talking about who built the pyramids, though. And we telling you that the Olmecs didn't build pyramids. The Washita are the pyramid builders. The mound builders. These Moors build mounds, which is why we're called the Washita Moors. Now, who are the Washita? The Washita are the Olmecs mixed in with the Moors. They become known as the Washita Moors, the mound builders. And what was the first empress? The mound builder. So these beings, the pyramids didn't start getting built over here until the Washita. They the ones that build the mounds. Yeah, so the Olmecs was over here thousands of years before the pyramids wasn't even built. The Moors came over here and mixed in with the Olmecs. Then they started building the pyramids. This is why when you go down to Central America and you look at the pyramids, you see a lot of serpents. You see a lot of dragon worship. A lot of Naga worship. Niggas. See, we not niggas. We not Negro, black, nor colored. The real niggas are Asiatic black mans. I'm telling you, avatars for Nagas, reptilians who came from planet Nevada. A lot of this stuff might be just too advanced for the average Joe. If you ain't been with follow Malachi and listen to Malachi and Elijah, by this time, we probably frying your brain right now telling you this shit. We probably frying your brain. Who you think came talking about the avatars? The Hindus. Because they were Nagas, reptilian serpent beings, which is why in ancient Egyptian culture, if you see them with the serpent on them, they tell you, oh, that's from lower ancient Kemet, that means upper and lower. No, that ain't what it represents, my brother. That's one perspective. What it represents is that people got Hindu in them. They come from the Ghouls, the serpent, Naga, avatar niggas. And we go all the way back to Imhotep. He had that same species in him. From the Afar Somalians who mixed with Hindu. Asiatic black mans. The Orientals. The place where the sun rises. Right? Yeah, all you niggas got Hindu in you. Right? See, look at this right here. Let me show you this. Look what it say right here. Can you see that? Prince Shabazz. Yeah, nigga, we the tribe of Shabazz. You think it's a game? Y'all thought Elijah Muhammad was crazy when he told you that? The Washitas are Shabazz. If you're the Washita, and then if you're Massey, you got Shabazz. Why? Because you got more, you got a double dose. Why? Because if you're Massey, you Washita, and then you mix with the Melodian Moors who came over here, Mansa Musa and Abu Bakr and them, and mixed in with the Washita, and they were Mandingos who practiced a ritual where they extend their follicles 15, 20 inches, or maybe even just 2 inches off the ground. So when they came over here, they was laying it down, and they started calling these people Mandingos, which is a common, and they are 3 combination mix. The Mandingos are from the Dinkas, from Sudan, which is like Watusis, and then from the Dogon people, right? Mandingos, and then from another, the kind of a man, from the mankind, the Oriental, the Asiatic black man mixing in when they jumped off right there at Shabazz, right there in the West Africa, and mixed in. That's a 3 mix, and gives you a new tribe now called the Mandingos. And the royal house of these Mandingos were called the Kentes. Abu Bakr and Mansa Musa, they come from the Kentes. And they made a movie and told you that they kidnapped the prince from the Mandingo tribe whose name was Kuta Kinte. Boy, they be playing games like a mug, bro. Nah, the Kentes didn't come over here on slave ships. The Kentes sailed over here in 1310 under Mansa Musa and Abu Bakr and mixed in before Christopher Columbus was even born. 200-300 years, 100 some years before Christopher Columbus was even born. Right? Yes. No, Spike Lee didn't write it. That other dude wrote it. The dude that they castrated. And he was working with the giant, the Black Hand in the background. We got to say it like this. He worked for the Black Hand in the background to play these games. But the Kentes are Mansa Musa and Abu Bakr, who were the richest people that ever lived. And get this, they came to America and got to gold and became the richest niggas. Not in Africa. They came to America and got gold from America, and they became the richest niggas in Africa. So when somebody telling you the richest people is in Africa, somebody playing some kind of game, because Mansa Musa and Abu Bakr came to America and got their gold. And that's when they became the richest niggas. They didn't come, and they went back to Africa and caused the stock market to crash. So somebody playing games when they tell you about the gold, that there ain't no gold over here. Shit. What you think Mount Rushmore is all about? Rush the Moors. You know what I'm saying? Mount Rushmore. Shit, they do these games, man, like service in trance, serve us in trance. They know these games, these wizards, you know what I'm saying, these word games. But if Mansa Musa and Abu Bakr is the richest guys that ever lived, and they came to America to get their gold, and they went back to ancient Kemet and caused the economy to crash. So who telling you there's more gold in Africa? Wouldn't have been the richest guys already in Africa from Africa? Unless, I'm just trying to tell you. Master teacher already pointed out. We are students. We're students of the master teacher. You see what time it is. We don't play no games. We students of the master teacher. So, yeah. And Bob will talk about it, the Mansa Musa story in the Let's Set the Record Straight book. So, like, we really been doing this, man. We've been doing this for a minute. So, and then they also want to tell you about the story about Ninurtu going back after the pole shift. He went back and told Enlil that, hey, man, look here, man, we just hit it big. Enlil said, what was it? What is it? He said, man, and he was talking about the area where now the Great Lakes are. The Great Lakes weren't there at this time. He said that it's gold nuggets the size of Texas. And he said Texas then, right? But he said, big nuggets. There's land boulders of gold just laying on the ground. Like it's shot up out the mountain and laying on the ground. In Yellowstone Park and then the Michigan Lakes, Great Lakes. The Anunnakis dug them out, digging for gold right there. They dug the Great Lakes out, digging for gold. The Anunnakis. Under the orders of Enlil and Ninurtu. So it was a lot of gold over here too. Yeah, so but the point I'm making is that the Mansa Musa and them, these Kentes came over and mixed in with Washita women, and Mansa Musa even took a wife from one of the chiefs over here. A wife from one of the chiefs. And they bought land over here and began mixing in. Abu Bakr even took wives over here from the chiefs, because they was coming over here, and they considered them as being royal, because they was royal. They actually was royalty from one of the biggest tribes in Africa. Now then, the Mandingos, right? They were kings actually, like sultans, because they didn't really call themselves king. They were like sultans. The word they used was Mansa, means like master, like short for master. Mansa. If I say Mansa Musa, is actually Mansa is actually a title in their tribe, right? And Abu Bakr Abu Bakr and Mansa Musa had the same father, but they had different mothers. Because Abu Bakr's mother was from the Mandingas, so he was full-blooded Mandinga. But then Mansa Musa's mother was a Far, so he was part Mandinga, part of Far, but he was still from the royal tribe because his dad was from the royal family, the royal house. Yeah, but these people, it's a check-in from the studio. Yeah, but these people mixed in, like I said, with the Washita, who was already mixed in with Moors, and they got more Moors in them, from the Melodian Moors. And that's created the Yamasee Native American Indians in Georgia. Because that's where Mansa Musa and them landed at. Savannah, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. Right? And these people began building certain types of masonry. They brought the masonry, another level of masonry over here. These Melodian Moors, and they began setting up the grand lodges and shit, like the Masonic lodges. These Mansa Musa and them, these Mandingas. Because if you go back, another grand lodge, not the oldest. One of the oldest is Karnak. That's one of the oldest grand lodges. And it's another old Grand Lodge is in the City of the Gods in Central America. But one of the oldest lodges is in Timbuktu, set up by Mansa Musa. And if you look at that building structure of that temple in Timbuktu and look at the Grand Lodge in Philadelphia, you'll see the resemblance. That like these same people built this same temple. And you'll see the connection. And if you know the connection with the masonry, with the Canaanites and the Caucasians, really the Caucasians coming to Timbuktu and shaking hands with the dirty Moors. That's where they shook hands at in Timbuktu. 1476. They shook hands in Timbuktu with the Black Hand. And they just put a movie out called Woman Kingdom. Is that the name of it? Where they show you these dark-skinned Moors coming and taking Africans and selling them as slaves. Now, not Mansa, Mansa. Mansa. It's like a title in their culture. It's like a title, like master or like sultan or like the overseer or like, yeah, if you go look the term up in like I say, Mandingo with the Kente tribe, it's a title. Like also Abu Bakr will be Mansa Abu Bakr, because it's like and they dad, they granddad, it goes all the way back. Like each of them carry that title onto their name. His name is Mansa Musa, right? Musa Kente. They Kentes though. I'm telling you, they Kentes. Go check it out, man. We already wrote a book. I wrote a whole book on it called The Hustler's Manual. If you want to get that book, I got the whole storyline in that book, The Hustler's Manual, for $20. You can cash out me $20. Well, like I said, you can go ahead and get all 8 books for $45 donation to the Cash App. Let me drop my Cash App in the link for you. It's not D Young Elder with an S. It's just D Young Elder. And it says coin swirling in here. Don't got no the thumbnail, because the dude scamming off a thumbnail. He using my name, everything, man. They clone my shit and trying to steal it. Stealing my but this is my Cash App right here. If you want to get the, yeah, you send me 40, I'll send you all up, man. Just Cash App me 40, and leave your be sure to put your emails in that little thing so I can just send you all the books right quick, the 8 books. But in the Hustler's Manual, I got the whole storyline and breakdown of the story of Mansa Musa. Where Mansa Musa came over and they got sucked. He lost like 3,000 men because he got sucked to the center of the earth in the Bermuda Triangle. And only one captain made it back to tell Abu Bakr what happened, but Abu Bakr didn't believe him. So he's decided to sell himself over here, and where he landed in Central America. When he got to Central America, right, they mistaken him for the return of Quetzalcoatl, who they call Inky, who that was Inky, right? Because Inky was coming over here and hiding gold amongst these people, these Olmecs and these Aztecs. They became, which was the children of the Olmecs, mixed with at the Hoshin mix. So somebody was asking that question. They were saying, who are the people in Mexico today? The people in Mexico are several different mixes, right? They're not Spaniards. What they are, the first people that was there were the Olmecs. And then you got, after the Olmecs, you got several other tribes like the Dogongs, the Afar. They came in, and Bantu became in, mixing over the millions of years. Then later, you got the Hoshin bunch, like in the like the 400s, right? The Hoshin, and keep in mind, Hoshin were dark-skinned Asiatics. I mean, they looked Chinese from the Sandsman, and they were dark-skinned though. The first Hoshin that come over here were dark-skinned beings, not white Asians. They were dark-skinned Asians. And that's why if you look at the American Indian mix, you'll see that the first bunch was blacker than us, and they had straight hair, hollow hair. Right. Hey, I got you. A magnificent. As soon as I get off, if for all the people that signed the donation, it's $45 donation for the books. Your emails, like I said, in the links, and I'm gonna send you the books as soon as I get off. I'll sit there and send you like all the books back to back. Now it's gonna take you a while to read all this shit because some of the books is real thick. Like the book of extraterrestrials, that joint's like that thick. The Ascension manual was like that thick. The Hustles manual was like that thick. The Scroll of Eyes, that's like talking about all the alchemy and shit. That's like that thick. Then you got the Dream Scroll, the Galactic Family of Life, the Orion Group book, where it talks about the Atlanteans, where I break down the story of the Goa'uld. Because I'm going to go back and do that tape, right? I'm going to go back and do them tapes over because I had to take them down due to copyrights in the tapes, right? So I'm going to have to redo the tapes so where the copyrights ain't in it. So I'm going to drop that, boom. That matter of fact, I might start on that tonight. Start doing the lives on the Ra and the Stargate tape and the Orion Group book. Matter of fact, I was breaking some of it down on here where I talk about we went to the Orion Group star system, and from there we begin to the Orion Group star system, and from there we begin to, come back to Earth, what we refer to then before, because like the Natharus, we don't call Earth Key. And that's another thing. If you go around and ask somebody, what's the name of your planet? Most people are going to say Earth. They don't even know that the planet, that means dirt. The Earth means dirt, and your planet is mostly water. So why would the name be Earth? That's one thing. But Anunnakis called it at one point Key, right? It's QI, right? But then when we came back as the Atlanteans, as the Natharus, we started calling it Tyri. Tyri is what we really called it, Tyri. And we call this whole star system really Tyri. And this will be Tyri 3. Your planet will be Tyri 3, which means the third planet from the sun, or whatever. That's what we called it as Natharus. And like I say, the Natharus are upgraded species from the Anunnaki. We like Anunnakis times 3, right? So, because I heard people, and I know they heard me say it, but I know that they was already arguing about this in the community. About there's a difference between the Anunnakis and the Natharus. There is a difference. Even though the Natharus do the root, they root is the Anunnakis. But the Natharus are upgraded beings. That's why they were trying to stop us. They're trying to stop Murdoch's family side from building the tower to heaven. Slow them down. confuse their tongues. So now a lot of us are going around arguing. A lot of the battles, I see they still battling and doing all these arguments, right? How's a Muslim gonna argue with a Hebrew when y'all both got the same doctrine? Y'all doctrine is both the same origin from Abraham. Shit is funny. You know why they arguing? Because one nigga speak Syriac Arabic. He talking from a Syriac Arabic perspective, and the other nigga talking from Arabic, traditional Arabic. You know what I'm saying? Niggas speaking, they arguing over dialects. The confusion, the argument is over dialect. You know that? Because Eli and Allah is the same damn thing. Shalom and salam is the same damn thing. Just a different dialect. Like y'all and you guys. Like up north, when I went to visit my cousin in Seattle, they don't say y'all. Down south, we say y'all. Up there, they say you guys. Hey, you guys, hey, you guys going to the bowling alley? We say down south, hey, y'all going to the bowling alley. Or y'all going to the bowling alley. Y'all, we shorten shit up down here, man. Same damn thing. So the confusion, the Anunnaki said, let's go down and live. Let's go and live in this game. And they try to blame Tammuz because they use Tammuz as the fall guy. Let's go down and confuse these niggas, these nagas, and confuse their tongue. And so now this nigga gonna be saying shalom, and this nigga gonna say salam, and they gonna be arguing with each other and saying, man, this ain't the same thing. They don't mean different. This means submit. This means this. They arguing over the same damn language, just a different dialect. What kind of game is being played? So when you hear niggas arguing, it's usually over different dialect. I mean, the root of it. It's going back to the confusion of the tongue. That's why the master teacher said language is key. And he also taught us a new language, and the language of the Anunnaki. So, like I said, like I told people, if a cow that you was gonna use for a hamburger could talk, and it said, "Hey, Mister, why are you going to make a hamburger out of me? I got kids and family. I want to live." Would you still cook them and make a hamburger out of them after that? If a chicken could talk to you in your language, and he says, "Hey, Mister, I'm Mr. Chicken, and I don't want to die. I don't want to be eaten. I don't want to be no McChicken sandwich. Could you spare me the whatever you're gonna do, the frying or whatever? And would you still eat him after that?" So if you could talk the same language as the aliens who want to use you, would they still use you after that? Think over that. So that's why the master teacher was teaching you this language. And also the people are learning the Metaneta, which is the Goa'uld tone. Yeah, and the language of the like as my little bro Phase Roy break it down, the language of the gods, the word of God, right? The Nataru or the Metaneta is the word of God, right? I'm telling you, the word of the gods, because Neta means God, nature, So what is God? Is God nature? Then you gotta ask yourself. Okay. So we almost out, man. We almost out, bro. We're gonna check it. We're gonna see what you got. Yeah, but to make a long story short, the mounds and pyramids and digging underground and all this, and the serpent influence. If like I say, if you go down to ancient Central America, you'll see the reptilian influence coming from these Moors who worship the reptilians. They worship fire beings. They were fire beings worshippers. They worship fire-breathing dragons because where they come from, the Nagas, it was Nagas that like dragon-type beings that can breathe fire. Or they, and if you notice when you go to like these circuses and stuff, where you see these dudes blowing fire out of their mouth with the torch, like the little circus tricks, all that come from the Moors. These 200 Fallen were doing it. They were doing the rings and the hoops and the Kama Sutras and all this right here stuff come from the 200 Fallen. I'm gonna do a whole exclusive tape on Patreon where I show you exclusive stuff though. It's gonna be telling. I'm gonna show you how they really got down. These dark skinned Truscans and all these beings. I'm gonna show you how they got down. They the ones that showed people how to do makeup. Go read the book of Enoch again, man. I'm telling you. So we better crack ahead. Everybody take this tape down though and put it on YouTube. So if you missed it, this shit might be too exclusive for YouTube. We better put it on Patreon. But we didn't curse or nothing. I don't think we said nothing that break the guidelines on this tape. I think we did good. Cause we're really talking about extraterrestrial stuff, and just the whole lot. But we got any questions before we get out of here, man? We almost out of time. We might come back at about 6 o'clock on YouTube and do one before because we got some. We actually got a tape dropping at 7 o'clock on YouTube, so you want to be tuned in for that. But we got any questions before we get out of here, man? Any debates on the Moors built the pyramids? The 200 Fallen built the pyramids, and then, like I say, the initiative before that, before the 200, like the initiative before that was Ningazita building the pyramids to balance the planet out, to keep it from wobbling and to keep it from doing another pole shift. Yeah, time zones just dealing with the spinning of the planet and the rotation around the sun and the way the sun hits the planet. Now, we still got a couple of flat earth guys out here. We thought we got rid of the primitive caveman. You can get in the boat and drive off the side of Earth type thing. Now they say, oh, nah, you can't drive off because it's a big ice wall. That ice wall don't surround the whole planet. It's only the ice wall. That ice wall, what it is a frozen lake. It's not really an ice wall. It's a frozen lake that's at the bottom of the down by Antarctica. It's a frozen lake. That's what it is. But if you go travel a couple miles in the center of that lake, it's a big old hole where it's a big old thawed out spot. And now, if it's supposed to be ice cold at the South Pole, why is this big old hole? If you look over on the map satellites, if you look down at the lake, why is a big old lake thawed out in the middle of a whole block of ice? Can you explain that? I tell you why. Because that lake, that hole in that lake, is bottomless. You can go all the way down in that lake once you get to about 400 miles down, 500 miles down in that lake. You're gonna switch gravity, and your whole submarine or whatever you in and flip over to the opposite side. And then now you're in the center of the earth in the Argon Ocean. And then you'll go up another 500 feet, and then you'll be in the center of the earth. That's what the ice wall is. The ice wall is a frozen lake. But like I say, it's only frozen around the outskirts. Once you go a couple miles in, you'll see that it's a big old hole melted down in the middle. Why? Because of the temperature in the center of the earth is different. It maintains a tropical temperature all the way around. So that Argon Ocean, the reason why that hole is melting because of that warm water coming out the center of the earth, out of the Argon Ocean, coming up through that and thawing that hole out. Adolf Hitler and them end up finding it and going down in it in their submarines and going to the center of the earth, the Third Reich. I want to crack. You gotta go get a book. You gotta go get a book called. You gotta get a book. Bible talk about it in a couple books. You gotta get a book called The Dark Fleet. Get a book called The Dark Fleet. Watch a movie called The Iron Fist. Watch these movies, man. They give you all the information right there in the movies. Keep in mind, movies are designed to move you and me. We better really click off, man. We see y'all ain't got no questions, but yeah, we cracked heads and twist caps on this one. We probably gonna put this on Instagram. I mean on YouTube though. All right, so peace. We out, man. Shalom alaikum, assalamu alaikum. Right, hotel, wadu, ashug. Divine love throughout the boundless universe to all. Freedom Master Teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York. Chief Black Eagle Thunderbird, man. We out, bro. Peace.